Hi, my name is Serena and I go to CSI High School for International Studies, and I'm making this video to talk about a topic that a lot of people aren't so familiar with, and it's called female cutting or female genital cutting. The practice used to be referred to as female genital mutilation, but due to the fact that the WHO, the World Health Organization, felt it was too harsh and judgmental, they changed it to female cutting. Female genital mutilation refers to all procedures involving partial or total removal of the external female genitalia, or any type of harm or injury to female genital organs. Female genital cutting is practiced throughout the world, but the practice is mostly concentrated on Africa, and that's where my video is going to be focused on. Now, a lot of people who first hear about this practice usually want to know why this could be done, because it is so brutal. Most genital cutting is performed due to superstitions and traditions in villages, and a lot of indigenous villages in Africa and other countries like India, sometimes Pakistan. And the most horrific part about the whole procedure, and the most hard to deal with part about it, is that it's performed on girls as young as infancy. Usually it is performed on girls from the ages 4 to 8, but it can be performed on any woman at any age, usually when she's preparing for her marriage. A lot of times it's done because they feel that it purifies a woman before she's married, making her more desirable to her husband, and cutting off the clitoris is able to make her less susceptible to sexual desire. So, it's hard for her to be aroused more. They feel like that's, a good thing before a marriage, or a good thing for a woman when she's reaching her adolescence. So now I just want to take this moment to say that from here on out, I'm going to be showing some graphic images, like diagrams of the vulva and some other graphic images that contain blood that have to do with female genital cutting. So if you have a weak stomach, or if you're squeamish, this might not be the most easy part for you to watch. I just wanted to take the time to say that. But this is, to better inform the public, not to cut corners on something that, to me, is so serious. There are 4 different types to this procedure. Type 1 is just removal of the clitoris partially or totally, usually totally. Type 2 is removal of the clitoris and the labia minora, which is usually referred to as the inner lips of the vulva. Type 3 is mutilation in the form of creating a covering. So that usually means that the labia majora is sewn together like this, and this is in order to make the vaginal opening narrower. It's also called infibulation. So like I said, the seal, it's kind of like a seal, and it's formed by cutting and moving the inner and sometimes outer labia. And removal of the clitoris is optional, so mostly it's the sewing together of the outer and or inner lips. The 4th type is referred to as other, which means it could be piercing, pricking, incising, or scraping of the female genital area. They're all really related because they're extremely unhealthy and extremely damaging to the female body. So here is a detailed diagram of a woman's vulva, and right up here, this is the clitoris, and it's located underneath the clitoral hood. Sometimes this whole area is removed during type 1. Right here is the labia majora. Sometimes they are referred to as the outer lips of the vagina. Right here, this pink part is called the labia minora, which is referred to, usually as the inner lips of a vagina. Right here is the vaginal orifice, and this is the opening where the menstrual flow is released and where sexual intercourse occurs. These areas are usually the main areas that are blocked off, cut, or sewn together during this procedure. So now we're going to go into detail about the 4 types of the mutilation. I'm going to show you type 1 now, which is removal of the clitoris. So as you can see, this is a diagram of the vulva or the vagina, and this part right here is the clitoris. It's highlighted green. Probably you can't see it that well, but here's the whole vagina. And in type 1, this little piece right here is cut out. So you can imagine how that must feel. And this is a lot more of a graphic image. This is the woman's vulva again. It is covered in blood, and right here is the clitoris that has been removed and it's being taken out. Now, type 2 of female genital cutting is the removal of the clitoris and the labia minora, which is these green parts right here. I don't have anything that's as graphic as the type 1 picture, but this is the part that would be cut off during type 2. Type 3 is referred to as infibulation, and as you can see in the diagram, that's when the clitoris and the labia minora are removed, and the labia majora, both on the left side and on the right side, are sewn together. Now there is a small opening, and that is for urination and menstrual flow, but the hole is very tiny. So as you can see, it's almost like, it's closing like a Venus flytrap, basically. As for the last type of female genital cutting, type 4, it can also be referred to as the same process in which the labia majora are sewn together, but this is called total infibulation now, because this is like a small hole or a small opening for urine and menstrual flow. Like, it's very, very tiny, much tinier than in type 3. Also, type 4 can be any other type of cutting or pricking or any removal of any other organs from the vagina. Most of these procedures are usually done without anesthetics or any painkillers, so these young girls and these women are experiencing pain and torture at its highest level. None of the parts of a woman's genitals should be removed in this fashion, because they're needed for a woman's body to function naturally and in a healthy manner. There's nothing beneficial about this practice. It is normal for a woman's vagina to be totally intact. The short-term side effects are severe pain and shock. Women and girls die alone from the shock of this procedure. It happens a lot. There's hemorrhaging, which is intense bleeding from the vaginal area. Bacterial infections come along with this, and urine retention. The long-term effects include cysts on the vagina, urinary tract infections, the inability to give birth to a child, and if she becomes pregnant, there is also the chance of childbirth complications. So with all that being said, I really hope that I enlightened a lot of people who didn't know about this before, and that this video helped you feel compassion for the women in their situations. Hopefully this video will make you want to go onto different websites and get really into depth, even more about what goes on and why it happens and where, mostly too, because knowledge can create a cause, and knowledge can create solutions for a lot of problems. So thank you for watching. If you did, I really appreciate it, and bye bye.